Hello and welcome to another Tabletop Games Blog Saturday review.
As the long dark winter looms, bears gather along the river, drawn by the promise of a feast. They fight for the best fishing spots where leaping salmon offer a chance at survival. The strongest dominate the prime locations, while others perfect their own hunting techniques. Each catch is a battle, each meal a lifeline. Only those who have feasted well will endure in the wild heart of Katmai, The Bears of Brooks River, by Peter Ridgway from Osprey Games, with illustrations from Tom Lopez. Yes, you heard it right. You're playing as a group of bears approaching Brooks River from either side, trying to claim the best spots to catch the most salmon. And as players, you literally sit opposite each other with the river running down the middle between you. The scene is set. As each of you shuffle your decks of bear cards, you look each other up and down, maybe with a glint of determination in your eyes. After you've both removed 2 cards from your decks and then each drawn 2 into your hands, the posturing can begin. It's time to send out the bears to stake their claim. Sorry if I made it all sound a bit dramatic, but playing Katmai, you can really imagine what goes on along the river every year. The game really brings it all to life. It starts with the 2 decks of cards, or packs. They're called Cinnamon and Sandy, one being a more tan colour, with the other looking much darker. Functionally, they're both the same, but the illustrations of the bears in each deck are different. In fact, every bear card has a different illustration. The rulebook lists them all at the end because they are based on actual bears that were spotted in Katmai National Park. Speaking of the rulebook, I suggest you read it to the end, as it not only describes all of the bears found in the game, but also talks about the Katmai National Park and Preserve, and the salmon. Most importantly though, it explains what the Katmai Conservancy is and the hugely important work it does, with a link to the organization's website, so it's well worth the read. Katmai goes a step further in bringing the annual salmon hunt to life though. Your goal is to claim control over specific sections of the river by playing bear cards whose dominance values add up to a higher number than your opponents on the other side. Whoever controls a section of the river can place a little bear meeple there, which are absolutely adorable by the way, and thereby hopefully complete objectives that give you the precious salmon that ultimately win you the game. That in itself is interesting and tells a little story, but it's how you marshal your bears and how the dominance values work that really bring everything to life. A lot of bears have an effect. They may allow you to chase away a bear on the opposite bank or call over one of your already placed bears to reinforce that section of the river. Some bears don't even have any intrinsic dominance value, but it depends on what other bears are with them. It's this that creates the story. As you play your cards and move bears around, you can really imagine the scene. For example, the Cinnamon pack may think that they safely claimed a certain section of the river, but when Sarah from your Sandy pack arrives, she drives one of the opposing bears away, leaving the pack in a much more precarious position. Or maybe Lefty from your pack tentatively found a quieter spot along the river, but as a very shy bear who was born with a short-lived ear, he won't be able to fend it by himself. His dominance value is 0 until another bear joins him, at which point his dominance is the same as the other bears. You can really imagine the real-life maneuvering and jostling that goes on in Katmai every year. Of course, if you prefer, you can play Katmai as an abstract game that is about knowing what cards are left in your deck, selecting the best of the 2 cards in your hand and deciding where to place it to complete the objectives. Knowing which cards are left isn't too difficult given the decks consist of only 12 cards, even if you aren't much of a card counter yourself. Despite there only being 12 cards, the shuffle of the deck creates a different challenge every round, and the river, consisting itself of 7 double-sided tiles that you mix up for every game, adds to the variability. So, no two games are likely to be the same, especially if you play with the same person, because the more you play, both of you will adapt your strategies, forcing you to adapt yours. Katmai certainly scratches my pattern matching itch, because of the objectives that reward you for placing your meeple bear tokens in certain ways to score salmon. It also appeals to my strategic and tactical mind, because every turn I have to choose one of the 2 cards in my hand and find the best place for it. The game also very much appeals to my storytelling brain, allowing me to imagine how the bears arrive at the river and change things with their presence. Finally, the beautiful artwork and lovely components make the game an absolute joy to play. The game really ticks a lot of boxes, and it's not only quick to set up and easy to teach, but also quick to play, making it the perfect 2-player experience. So why don't you try and catch yourself a meaty salmon and visit Katmai, the Bears of Brooks River yourself?
Thank you for listening to this Tabletop Games Blog's Saturday Review podcast. Please check the description below for links mentioned in this episode, as well as to the written version of this article on the blog. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, give us some stars or leave a review. Please also tell your friends about me, and if you want to offer financial support, check out my Patreon and Ko-fi pages, links to which you'll find in the blog at tabletopgamesblog.com. So thank you again for listening, and I hope to see you again soon.
This podcast was made possible by the generous help of my supporters. Royal Patron Sean Newman, Magic Champion John Risley, Castle Guards David Miller and James Naylor, Dice Masters Alex Bardi, Paul Grogan and Robin Kay, and Shining Lights Jacob Davis, Gavin Jones, Sarah Reed and Richard Simpson.